Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Dynamite Headdy. Last time we took down the nasty gatekeeper and revealed the way to the Dark Demon's castle, so we're well on our way to the end of the game with one of my favorite acts. Act 8 kicks off with the Rocketeer. It has a pretty neat color scheme and the music's pretty awesome. And also, what is that sound? Giant rockets out of nowhere, so that's something to watch out for. To avoid these things, you can either use the pinhead and duck for cover, but there are two issues with that. First, the inner wall between the rockets isn't fixed, so you may get hit even if you think you've left cover as soon as the rocket has passed. And secondly, it's slow and boring, which is why I usually opt for the spike head myself. It's a nice little detail that the rocket also takes out the various enemies that are on the screen. Whoops, I was a bit too late there. You can also get stuck in the pits sometimes if you're standing in them. Whenever you hear the sirens blaring, you should just instantly go for the ceiling. And if you thought points never do you any good, you actually get a secret bonus point if you collect everything in this scene. You also need Spike Head for this, obviously. Looks like we found the source of those rockets, and once again we're presented with either the pinhead or the spike head. Should be obvious which you should go for. That's weird that there was no sound for that rocket. No sirens going off. But I have no excuse for taking a hit there though. And this here is just for a display of how bad the pinhead is for this situation. There's not enough time to land him in one hit and get back to the cover. I guess you could switch spike head to it if need be, if you're running out of it or something, but usually the ceiling's a lot safer place. Once the rocket conveyor is taken care of, make sure you get one of these dudes, because they give you a secret bonus point. The pace changes quite a bit here, along with the music. It's a lot more jazzy. A pretty good tune, I must say. And I hate to interrupt the moment we get to this next scene, but this is our last chance to play the basketball game, so that's what we're going for. So once again, an increment of 5, we have 20 shots to make. Something I didn't mention before is that there is actually a slight change every time you come back to the basketball minigame. That is, the bombs spawn a lot more often. As you can probably see, there's usually at least one bomb coming up from the chutes. So it's a slightly harder affair this time around. But other than that, we know the deal, there's nothing else to see here, so we'll come back when all 20 shots have been made. And in the meantime, let's see if the 8-bit version has more surprises for us. Right, time for some more Dynamite Headdy 8-bit adventures. We know what's up with the game, so skipping right ahead to where we were last time. Down Under is quite a bit more difficult. It's a fair deal harder than the Genesis version. The enemies kind of pop out of nowhere, they have a good chance of throwing you into lava. And this fellow right here that you might recognize as the dragon boss from Act 2 in the Genesis version has taken on a serpent form and has the ability to just appear on top of you like that, making it impossible to anticipate where he'll show up. Couple that with the wonky hit detection and you're in for one pretty interesting fight. Or I guess it would be interesting if his pattern wasn't just appearing and firing a fireball. Okay, this is kind of annoying. I can't hit the frog because Headdy will just keep picking up a new super head. Now these propeller fellows, I actually kind of prefer this to what we had on the Genesis. You don't have the teeter-totter platform or the pseudo 3D effect, so you don't have to pinpoint their exact location. I mean, it wasn't that tough in the 16-bit version, but granted, it's a little nicer here, to be honest. So with Trouble Brewing replacing all bosses, Keymasters, of course, he's being replaced by weird machines. He keeps throwing jelly beans and beano heads left and right, or well, left only actually. If you want those, you have to hit him on the right side of the swing. But usually it's not necessary, unless you're going for secret bonus points. If you have full health, you can just keep attacking the machine, and it will go down before it can hurt you enough to kill you. And then we have the Keymaster stage, of course. Wooden dresser being replaced by Trouble Brewing. You don't have to hit him in any specific spot. And that's all there is to the fight. He never changes his costume, it's always the ballerina dress, so I thought we could just speed things a bit and clear this out, because it's nothing to write home about. Wow, 0 secret bonus points. That is kind of embarrassing. I think you get all of them from the backstage battle thing, but you know, like I said, I don't really care about the secret bonus points in this game. Now, the game kind of skips the entire Act 4. I mean, we saw a glimpse of it a bit earlier, but we're going straight to Act 5 and Stair Wars. We have platforms that break in on you, but if you time it just right, they're not a threat. And you can completely skip this level by going simply upwards. There, that's the stage. How do you like that? Now Towering Internal, once again, isn't quite as impressive. Without the pseudo 3D, Hangman just sort of glides there. And the mechanical arm enemy that we saw before is now a series of jam-filled cookies. That's what it looks like. You know, it feels a bit unfair to be calling the game out on its technical limitations, so I'm gonna cut that out. But still, you know, not overly impressed, this game really doesn't need to exist. Armadillo is as annoying as ever. He takes a ton of hits. He doesn't circle around the platform this time, just flies around the screen. It should be easy to anticipate when to change sides. For some reason I sort of got confused earlier there. But as long as you keep your cool, this shouldn't be a problem at all. And with that we move on to the Spinderella fight. I should be pretty clear by now that Trouble Brewing's taking the helm. And this one is a tough one. For one, his attack deals a ton of damage, as you can tell, and I don't know how to dodge it. I get hit every time I sneak past. But what's even worse is that I've never got him to expose his back, so I can't attack his weak spot. And in fact, I've never been able to land a single hit. And I've spent maybe about 10 lives here before and just couldn't figure it out. So as far as I'm concerned, that's the game for me. I'll come back to this if I ever figure out a way to deal damage to the guy, but for now, we still have a lot of ground to cover with the 16-bit game, so we're going straight back to that. Welcome back. Just one more point, and there we go. Finally, that's that. No more basketball ever again. You know, you should be really thankful it didn't make you sit through all that. That is one boring minigame. And there is our fourth and final number. So going back to Fun Forgiven. Not quite as straightforward as the start of the act, which is nice. You have these penguin enemies. Hitting them will turn them into statues, and if you freeze them over the platforms will fall. And yes, that is Anubis, in case you were wondering. The Hangman physics are kind of weird here. If you move in any direction, you'll actually fall into spikes. It's kind of odd. the enemy at the bottom can be really deceptive. It has two moving parts. If you move the bottom part too far to the opposite direction, you'll actually get squished and insta-killed. I usually don't go for the jelly bean for that reason alone. So, cue one of my favorite enemies in the entire game, coupled with a really good song. Meet Turret. It has a number of objects circling it, and you can't directly damage it with your head. The heart container will actually replenish all Turret's health, but if you hit it 3 times, hey presto. So, with that out of the way, we can concentrate on taking him out. We have 3 numbered balls, the biggest one with the number 2, the middle one with the number 4, and the tiny one with number 8 on it. The bigger the number, the bigger the damage it deals to Turret. Every other object in the fight you should just ignore. Headcase only has useless stuff. Hangman sends you flying through the air, usually hitting Turret in progress and making you take a hit. And that's the end of the first phase. Aw, look at that. Headcase is a small little propeller. Isn't that just the cutest thing ever? So, second phase of the fight. Pretty interesting concept with the first phase. This one is much more straightforward. Just hit it until it dies. Triple head maximizes your chances to hit it, of course. You should always go for that. And despite saying it's an easy fight, I still take a hit at the end. We have an extra life taunting us. We'll get that a bit later. Nothing we can do about it now. Let's catch some Z's. And then we can grab Spikehead and move upwards. That was something we couldn't do before. I really like the fact that the song from the fight keeps going. It's really good. This enemy right here you should not shoot directly at, because it will swallow your hand and attack you with it. Instead you shoot the little lead on the flower pot. And that is just unfair. I can't resist a message like that. Well, I guess I shouldn't have done that. In retrospect, it did blatantly tell me not to shoot. That was pretty dumb. And you can't drop down a ledge with the melon head, so we're playing the waiting game. Another one of those. Don't think I'll fall for that again. There's a lot of hollowed out walls in the stage, giving you access to a lot of good stuff, like jelly beans, which you'll probably need, also extra lives, and naturally more useless points. This section is really tough. The Hangman aren't aligned the same way every time, meaning that if you trust your gut feeling and go for it, you'll probably just plummet into the spikes. That happened to me a lot of times when I test recorded this stage. This time I did really well though. And that's the one-up that was taunting us before. Got that one in the back, so this area is pretty much cleared of items. I got lucky with this rotation here. Usually I spend probably a couple of minutes trying to get up there. I know I said I wouldn't shoot at any of those things, but there's that. That is pretty devious. You'd never think to shoot at those if you touched any of the ones before. And the second one only gives you a melon head too. Guess we're just slowly shuffling our way to the next scene. Vice Versa introduces yet another gimmick. When you shoot at the blue hovering machine, the stage flips upside down, changing the environment to help you proceed and also the way the enemies work. For instance, the boat guy isn't vulnerable. He has a turtle-like shell when the stage is upside down. And when it's right side up, the Shogun enemy here will actually be invulnerable. And there are these small puzzles here that are extremely easy. Not difficult at all, but I still like it. It uses the stage mechanic and it's all good. Here you need to make sure you hit 3 of the Shogun's projectiles. Yep, another secret bonus point. It's pretty silly. Also, did you notice that for the first time in the game, Protector Head was actually useful for something? That's gotta be a first. Don't know what's up with it, but sometimes these things that you need to push around, they get stuck in the ceiling. I don't know what triggers it or anything. Sometimes you need to flip the stage to get them to fall back down. It's a good thing the game gives you a sleepyhead here before a mini-boss fight. Although it's not exactly difficult. This guy's called Sparky because he shoots sparks at you. And I really like this boss fight. Once again, it shows how the designers use the level gimmick and the mechanics even in the boss fights. It's a small thing, but it still works in their favor. It's a nice touch. And the balls hurt you too, so picking up Empty Head before going into this fight is probably a good idea. Sometimes the ball gets stuck on the ledge on the right side, meaning you have to flip the stage around again and give it a little push, like so. The bigger the ball, the bigger the damage. You probably figured that one out. Another nice little detail are the Dark Demon paintings that actually start moving whenever the stage is upside down. Always thought that was kinda nice. Well, I hope you enjoyed the level so far, because now we'll be going up against the toughest boss in the game. So take a deep breath. Oh man, even the music's giving me the heebie-jeebies. I've died to this boss so many times, it's not even funny. Here we go. Meet Twin Freaks. Now, Twin Freaks, I'm ready to bet that if you haven't seen the game over screen until this point, this is where you will lose all your continues. Your first time around, Beano! Thank goodness for that. If you're going for 100%, waiting for that Beano to appear is absolutely painful. Sometimes it just turns up at the very wrong moment and trying to get it will get you killed. So, the Twin Freaks works as you probably saw. We flip the stage, Twin Freaks changes color from green to red. When he's green, his ear is vulnerable. Only a small part of his ear, mind you. When he's red, he's invulnerable, and he comes at you with great speed. He can't squish you as long as you keep to the right. He will never outrun you. He can't squish you to the edge of the screen. But with all these obstacles that come up, and the fact that you have to flip the stage several times in a row sometimes can severely throw you off. And whenever there's this huge wall in front of you and you have to flip the stage, there's a big chance that Twin Freaks will catch up and squish you, instantly killing you. Now, the reason I'm not killing him is that I want to show the stage. At some point it'll start repeating itself. This part right here is absolutely terrible. I've died so many times to that part. Here you can see, if you just keep to the right, Twin Freaks will never reach you, which is a good thing. Whenever this part comes up, I usually go for the red version, but you can also turn him green, try to jump over the spikes and deal damage. But it's really difficult. I find it's a bit easier to just run away like this. One thing you should always do is try to grab Slammerhead right here. When you have the chance, go up. Don't jump too early, otherwise the screen won't have enough time to catch up. And since the stage has begun repeating itself, we might as well deal the finishing blow. Whew, that was a tough one. I've died to this boss so many times. I'd probably say that the final boss is slightly more difficult, but only because I couldn't get past Twin Freaks to even deal with him. It's such a terrifying fight though. I think being chased is one of the more horrifying things in any given video game, and having to deal with projectiles and flipping the stage, trying not to jump into spikes. It's not an easy feat. So that's it for this stage, aside from one more little thing. Before we move on, Volcano Style posted this on the challenge thread of Something Awful. And the challenge is to defeat Twin Freaks without ever flipping the stage. So this here goes out to all of you who hate Twin Freaks with a passion. And on that high note, I think it's a good time to end the video. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the final level of Dynamite Headdy.